Hello and welcome to another episode. Now this is a PlayStation 3 DualShock 3 6-axis controller and it's totally dead. It's been lined up for some time. Even when you put in the charger, nothing happens. So it looks like the rechargeable battery is dead. Now you can buy them online for about 5 to 10 euro. But what we've found out is these little things here, you can buy them in Poundland or in Ireland, Dealz, €1.50 or £1, and it turns out they're not disposable after all. The battery in them is actually rechargeable, and we're going to stick it into this. Okay, so first off let's open this. And just before I open it, I just want to point out on the back, if you just check it there, it'll actually say it's 3.7 volts and 300 milliamps, which is not very large. And again, let's open it. 5 screws, Phillips. So what we do then is with the Phillips screwdriver, so with the 5 screws out, then we'll just crack it open. So just pull it from this end and it'll just peel up. And there we have the battery there. Now, it doesn't look great. And if you feel it, it's actually swollen in the middle, which means it's pretty much had it. I wonder it wouldn't take a charge, it's just not much good anymore. Now before you go any further, it's probably a good idea to take a picture of the wiring here, because we're going to use this cable on the other battery. And also, if you can, peel off the little pad underneath, and we can use that too. The reason being is some of the little components here are proud of the board, and if the battery actually presses down to them, it can either cause a short or possibly some damage. So again, just jiggle it out and it comes free. So put that to one side, and there's your battery there. Now what we need to do is then we need to slice open the casing, or the cover, not the casing side, don't do the casing, to see if you can pull apart the insulation off it. And just cut it up there, pull it apart. Again, there's another little bit of insulation there. Just peel that off. And there you'll see the 2 contacts just there. So what you'll need to do then is you can either get a soldering iron and desolder, or you can just wiggle them a little bit and they'll snap off. So what I do is I'll actually get the soldering iron and I'll desolder them. Okay. Now, this is a little USB soldering iron, runs off a USB port. Let's check out later then and see if it'll actually come off a power bank, if it'll run off a power bank. So that's 1, and that's the 2. So keep them to one side. And now if you look at the battery, you can see it's actually swollen in the center. So that's no good anymore. Yeah, this is the cheap Pound World Dealz disposable power bank. So it's designed for festivals, etc. in emergency. You're probably familiar with these and you've probably seen them before. So now to open that, again, just get a bit of a spudger or even a screwdriver and then just prise it open. Now, I'm not too worried about the circuitry in here because we're not going to use it. And there's your replacement battery. Now it says here 650 milliamps. Now I've had one out before and I have charged and discharged it and it comes back at 500 milliamps, which is more than capable for the DualShock 3 controller. So again, now this is stuck on with a pad, so you need to work it off gently. Try not to force it, or you could misshape the battery itself. And just work it there, and you see the little pad, and there's the. Now what we need to do then is we need to take off this clapped-in tape and desolder these, and then solder on the replacements. Now they're not soldered on, they're crimped. So what we do is I'm going to cut them off, and just cut them off and then leave enough then to solder on the other cables. And now we're ready for soldering. Now before we do that, you just bend them back into place. And remembering which one is the positive, which I believe was this one. But just in case, I'll just do a quick test. That was my mistake now. So just put that down to one side. You can see on the meter and there we go, that's definitely the positive. So just to be on, so I won't forget again, just use the marker. Now what we need then is we need a little bit of flux paste. And a little bit of solder. And now our replacements. Or at least the little plug that goes on. So we'll just put that on. Right, so that's it. Now before you go any further, the casings on these and on a lot of these batteries are actually positive. So in order for this not to short out on your controller, we'll need to insulate it. So if you have any clapped-in tape, use it. If not, use insulation tape. So what we'll do then is I'll just stick some insulating tape on it. Make sure you wrap it good and sound. So just put that in there. bring it down and around. And around again. Now we need to do it completely cover it with insulating tape. So we'll just go down here, bring it down. Now the same over here. And there we have it, and it's ready to go in. Now what we do is we'll actually just plug it in and we'll just test and see if it's working before we go any further. So just push it in here, come around here. Right, so now we have power. Okay, now the other little thing, it's a little bit of a challenge, is the battery itself. I'll just disconnect it there for the moment. Now the original battery actually sits down just here, but this one is just ever so wide. It'll almost make it in, so it'll need to go in at a slight angle. So what we do then is, because it's going back in here and we don't want this digging into any of the components, we'll just stick a little bit of a pad on there. Now you can, if you want, you can get a little bit of sticky tape, or as thick as possible sticky tape, with no more than a couple of mil. So it just so happens I have a little bit here, and we'll just put that on there, plug this in, and then lean it over. Now line up your number 2 buttons, your RL2 and R2, line them up, because they have a tendency to fall out of place. Just put the battery over and lean it in, and then close down the controller. Now you may not get it right first time, so just keep at it and it should come good. Right, that looks like it's closing, and just before you screw it down, just check again, check that your buttons are depressing, and it looks good. Put it back together. Right, so, and it's still working. Now let's just check and see what happens when we plug the mini USB into a USB port and see will it actually, we wait for that to go off a moment. Okay, so let's just plug in and see what happens. Yep, it's charging. And that's all there is to it. You've now replaced the battery in your DualShock 3 controller for £1 or €1.50. All you needed was a screwdriver, a little bit of soldering iron, and you're good to go. Now you can't go in and you can buy one of these in the shop or second hand pre-used. You're talking about 20 to 40 euro or £1. Well, why do that when you can do it for £1? And you'll have many more hours of fun. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, give us a thumbs up and drop a comment, like, share, subscribe, and you'll find us on the usual social media platforms.